Hello my friends! Are you running a photography business and you're trying to figure out if you need an accountant or not? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons of why you don't need an accountant. If you're new here, my name is Travis Reynolds. I'm a CPA and I help photography studio owners run more profitable businesses. Alright, the first reason of why you probably don't need an accountant is because you are on top of your bookkeeping. If you're on top of your bookkeeping, that means you're not using a spreadsheet, you are using software, you are keeping track of all of your income and expenses, you are reconciling on a monthly basis, and you can pretty much always know how profitable you are at any given point in time. The reason why you don't need an accountant if this is the case is not only will you know how profitable you are on a monthly basis, but when it comes to tax time, you will be organized. Getting your taxes done can be very stressful and time consuming, and having all of your documents and income and expenses organized, you will be able to have a smooth tax filing season. And again, I would like to emphasize this means you are using software such as Honeybooks or QuickBooks Online, Wave, Xero, whichever one you are using. If you're using a spreadsheet, it is very likely that you could be missing income and deductions. It's also possible you are underreporting your sales or overreporting your expenses. Reconciling your accounts on a monthly basis through software ensures that everything is captured accurately. The second reason of why you might not need an accountant is because you are just a simple sole proprietor or an LLC, you are not an S corporation. If you're just a sole proprietor or an LLC, your taxes are actually pretty simple. Basically, all you gotta do is report all of your income and expenses throughout the year and make sure they get reported on your Form Schedule C. If you are an S corporation though, there's actually a lot more that goes into it. You will have to file Form 1120S and you probably will have to report a balance sheet as well. Not only do you have to report the end of the year balance sheet numbers, but you also will have to report the beginning of the balance sheet numbers. And it's very important that you are using accounting software for this to keep track of all of your balance sheet numbers. But one of the reasons why I don't recommend photographers to try to do an S corporation tax return themselves is because it's actually a very complicated tax return, something accountants even struggle with. The third reason of why you probably don't need an accountant is because all of your income is only in one state. For example, here I live in the state of Washington, so if all of my income is just here in the state of Washington, I don't need to worry about out-of-state income, such as doing business in Idaho or Oregon. If you are a photographer who lives on the border and goes across the borders to do different photography shoots, or perhaps you are a wedding photographer who does destination weddings in different locations, your tax situation has got very complicated, such as do you need to charge sales tax for out-of-state, or do you need to file out-of-state income tax returns? Every jurisdiction is different, and it's very important to work with a CPA who knows their stuff. The fourth reason of why you might not need an accountant is because you didn't make any big purchases throughout the year. I'm talking about things like a new camera, new lighting, new equipment, new vehicle perhaps. And the reason you don't need an accountant if you don't make any large purchases is because you don't need to make any big decisions. If you make a large purchase, it's important to figure out how long you want to depreciate the property for. And I'm not just talking about do we want to spread it out over 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years. I'm talking about do we want to get the full deduction in this first year or do we want to spread it out over time? Typically that's 5 years. So for example, if you bought $10,000 worth of equipment, we have to figure out, do you want to get that $10,000 deduction in the first year, as in the year that you paid for it, or should we spread it out over the next 5 years where you can get basically almost a $2,000 deduction per year? Now you might think it sounds stupid to spread it out over 5 years when you paid out that $10,000 and you want the tax deduction now. But if you think your income is going to be higher in future years, you can actually spread that deduction out and lower that income where your tax bracket is higher. In other words, you'll be getting a better tax savings over the long run rather than the short term. So that's why it's important to work with a CPA in that situation so you can figure out what is best for you. Alright, the fifth reason why you probably don't need an accountant is because you are not at or near capacity yet. If you're just a new business and you still have a lot of time on your hands, you probably won't benefit from an accountant. And I'm talking about time versus money here. When you are at or near capacity, every time that you spend not working on your business, you are losing money. But if you are not at or near capacity yet, it's important to set up good processes and good systems. That way you can do your taxes more efficiently while still focusing on growing your business. And then also when the day comes where you do want to transition to an accountant, you can have a seamless transition. Alright, so again, let's recap. You don't need an accountant if you have great bookkeeping, or if you don't have out-of-state income, or if you are not an S corporation, or if you did not make any large purchases, or if you are not at or near capacity. If you fit any of those bills, you do not need an accountant. Now, I don't say that as accountants are a complete waste of money or anything like that. As an accountant, I do believe we provide lots of value, and we're kind of like a business partner. It's always in our best interest to see your business grow, as that's the way we keep our customers. We can help you grow your business. We can look at where your money's going, how much you spend on marketing, should you raise prices, and things like that. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you got any questions, please drop them in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. And I'll see you in the next one.